Good morning, everyone. Today is the 28th day of Adar Sheni, April 7th. Let's do a quick recap of yesterday's Tanya. We began and we're continuing today. We're in the middle of chapter 39 of Tanya, and the chapter discusses the difference between serving Hashem with an intellectually stimulated love and awe, which means you think about how God is wonderful and great, and He created the world, and He takes good care of you, and He gives you the food that you eat, and the air that you breathe, and the family that you have, and the beautiful soul that you daven in. Versus an instinctive, natural one, which every single Yid has latent in his heart, a love of Hashem. So that's something that's God-given. That's instinctual or natural, whatever you want to call it, corresponding to spiritual sphere, which they may reach. You could obviously reach that level. Sometimes it comes out during a moment of passion. Sometimes it comes out during a time of Mesiras Nefesh, but we all have that within us. So he says that, and he mentions the realm, the Alter Rebbe talks about the realm of Yitzira. There are different levels where a person's neshama or love or connection to Hashem may come from, and the level of Yitzira is primarily emotion, whereas the realm of Bria is primarily intellectual. Hence, the angels reside in the former, in emotion, while tzaddikim can reside even higher than that of a malach, because a malach only has one focus, one job, can't deviate from that. Generally speaking, as the Alter Rebbe noted in a little quotation, that some malachim are sent down to do their job, and then they whatever. So that's just a little side note. Anyway, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to do the takeaway from yesterday real quick. So the takeaway from yesterday was that we can be superior to angels. The angel has a natural connection to Hashem, but we choose to have connection to Hashem. What do you want? Someone who just does exactly what they're supposed to do, or someone that chooses to do better and really strive, and even if he's faced with some kind of a struggle? We can soar higher even than an angel. Okay, that's as far as yesterday is concerned. We are recording. In today's lesson, the light of Hashem in the realm of Atzilus. Yesterday we talked about Yitzira, Bria and Yitzira. Atzilus, we know, is a much higher level, much deeper level. And may I please remind you that some of the concepts that we're going to say, if they're new to you, they may be a little bit over your head. That's okay, because Yitzira is over all of our heads. So let's just try to follow along, and certainly our neshama will understand. So the godly light in the realm of Atzilus, a total godly sphere, is too lofty for created intellect to appreciate. So if you put on your coat and you step out, I get it, because it's too lofty to understand. So you want to give up, but don't walk away so fast, Adam, because your neshama hears it, and your neshama knows what this means, and it's important for your neshama to be fed and nourished as well. So the flow is, having explained that Bria is the abode of the neshamas that serve Hashem with intellectual love and fear of Yitzira. Let's serve Hashem with intellectual love and fear. Again, the level of Bria is when you think about it and you realize that Hashem could do anything, and something might happen if I don't do something right, or a lot of good things happen when I do things right. Hashem showers the brachas, as we learned in the Maimer. When we daven and we put our effort in, the floodgates of light and blessing open up and come back to us. So it really is contingent upon our effort we got to put in. And then we have, excuse me, lost my voice a little bit yesterday. I'm maybe in Yavin. Here we go. So Yitzira, the souls of Yitzira that served Hashem with natural love and fear, are that comes because Hashem gave that to us. That's the gift. So now we'll discuss the divine soul, the divine service of the neshamas that come from the world of Atzilus. Again, unimaginable, because that's what's Atzilus. Atzilus can be broken down. The same word is of Eitzel. Eitzel, very, very close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the source. So the quality of their divine service, yeah, I can catch. Go ahead. If I dove, I used to dive in my good old days. Remember I used to dive at shortstop? I would have got that, no big deal. I have actually, Menachem, right here, I have some candies. So, thank you, though. So the quality of their divine service, he explains, surpasses even that of intellectual love and fear. Atzilus, if we say that a person is on a higher level because he worked on the love and fear on his own, it didn't come naturally. So from the level of Atzilus, it's an even greater and higher level, obviously, because it's much closer to Hashem. So this is the level of those tzaddikim who become a merkava to Hashem, as we mentioned many times, like our patriarchs, who serve Hashem, have no will of their own, who are completely bottled and nullified to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and do whatever he says. Jump, they say how high. They don't start saying when, where, let me think about it, hang on. I'm busy today. I'll get back. I'll get right back to you. The merkava of Hashem, like our avos, just do exactly what Hashem wants. That's the level of Atzilus. The world of Atzilus is beyond the intelligence grasp. Okay, it's beyond reason and understanding. Even a spiritual a spiritual being in the world of Bria is, after all, a created being. Even if you want to call it an angel, it's something that God created. But Atzilus is beyond grasp. For the Chachma, Bina, and Das of Ein Sof are united with him, the neshama there in Atzilus, in perfect unity. What's that word? That one word is yichud, unity with Hashem. Like Shema Yisrael Hashem, echad. It's not one God. We're talking about that God is united with everything. God does not change before the creation of the world, after the creation of the world. It's all the same. It's all Hashem, and that is, if you could possibly try to imagine the way the world of Atzilus is, everything is just united with God. It's like taking a little match, lighting it, and then putting it in this huge bonfire. Can you find the match? Can you say, can you define the flame? No, it's completely subsumed and absorbed in the big flame. Maybe that's the mashal we could tap into. And what's this yichud? Be yichud otzum v'nifla v'yeseses v'yeseres. Le'ein kates ba'olam habriya, in a profound and wonderful unity, indefinitely superior to that unity found in Bria, even though Bria is much higher than this world of Asiya. So there's angels and it's very spiritual, but when it comes to Atzilus, it's like, it doesn't compare. It's like, a Toyota and a Rolls Royce, well, even that you can compare because they're both cars that drive on the road. It's like incomparable. It's like a flying car that we haven't experienced yet to like an old jalop. Even that we can put in some kind of a context because it has to land and it has to be maintained. Atzilus and Bria are not comparable. They're not on the same wavelength. For there they descend to illuminate only a restricted or contracted degree, which means the contraction of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that in this world is so much so that we can't see him or recognize him at all. We try very hard to have a relationship despite that. But in Atzilus, just a slight little contraction. Otherwise, it's the revelation of godliness, and it's very, very strong. So the Chabad of Atzilus, referred to here as Chachma bin Adas of the Ein Sof, radiate in Bria only after their light is contracted. When it comes to Atzilus, not so much. Or not at all. Kadesh yuchlu, scholim, nivroim, lekama behem, Chachma bin Adas, liedas Hashem, v'havin al-hasik, ezas, sagabarin, seifmanukul. Well, in Atzilus, so as to enable the intellect of created beings, what happens to the light? The light gets contracted so as to enable the intellect of created beings, namely the malachim and the souls of Bria, to receive the chachma bin adas, the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge from these spheres of Atzilus. All the light of Hashem comes through all the different worlds and super, levels and levels and levels until it comes to us, so that they might know Hashem and that they may grasp Hashem and comprehend something, even a little tiny thin, razor thin hair of light that comes down. To the extent that the intellect of finite, limited, created beings is capable of understanding, that's us, that we wouldn't completely expire because we become absorbed in the light of Hashem. So the light has to be hidden so that we can be alive and be able to somehow have a relationship and be able to try to understand what this light is all about. If we would have a revelation of godly light, just like, God forbid, if you're too close to the sun, you'll be burnt up. And imagine I've said this a few times, but maybe not on the recording, so I'll repeat it now. We're 92 million miles away from the sun, right? So if we were 1 or 2 or 3 miles closer, we would be badly burned. We probably wouldn't survive whatever it is, chas v'shalom, right? But imagine we were 20 miles closer, whatever that, craft or aircraft or entity or creation would be, wouldn't be burnt. It would be nullified, pulverized, gone out of existence. So that would happen if there was any type of revelation of Hashem without the tzimtzumim and the order that it had to come through. It would dissolve out of existence and it would cease to be created altogether and revert to their source and root, which is Hashem. It would just be assumed in Hashem, just like you would take a little match and throw it in a bonfire or in the sun. Boom, it's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. It's not like, let me see if I can find that match. It's gone. So that's as far as today. We'll continue with this idea of tzimtzumim and the Or and Seif as it comes out into this world. We'll continue tomorrow. But the takeaway for today is that the world of Atzilus represents a realm that precedes independence. There's no created entities, even angels. They can't exist there. It's a world of total unification. So if you say there's a neshama from there, that means the neshama is one and is connected and united with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So what happens is it's a world of total unification with Hashem. And it is when you rise above your intellect, when you leave your limitations, then you can touch, so to speak, that infinite. When we work on our Avas Hashem and Yis Hashem with an intellectual achievement, and we really work on it with kavana and with soul devotion, and we say, thank you, Hashem, thank you, and we feel that love of Hashem, but sometimes there has to be a level higher than that. It can't come through love. And we're not talking about the lower level that comes naturally, that Hashem gives you a love, just like a child has for a father. There's a love that's reached and achieved even higher than the thought process, and that's the level, that's at least for our sake, the concept of Atzilus, which means much closer to Hashem and unity with Hashem. Okay, that's it for today, Chevra. Some deep Hasidic concepts that the Alter Rebbe shares with us in Tanya, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Mincha today is 7:15. See you all. Zayizun, thanks for joining us online. I'm guessing it's Yuda. I love you. Good to